Hi there, it's Malika. Hello, happy Wednesday, everyone. Today we have skincare science going on. I'm just doing this. I don't know if I'm doing it right. Chris is here. He's waved at me. Hello, Chris. Oops, press the wrong button. There we go, Chris. I'm going to press the right button. Oops. Oh gosh, I'm trying. Hang on. Okay, got it. Hey, everyone. Hello, Mo. It's nice to see you here. And we've got Anita. Hi, Anita. Inked Queen. Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Looking good. I am well, actually. Yes. Well, a bit achy. I've done a bit of exercise today for the first time in ages, but we'll talk about that on my session with Women's Confidence about getting strong. So today we are talking about CBD in skincare, CBD oil in skincare. And I confess it's not something I know an awful lot about. My experience with CBD oil was that there was a lot in the media about CBD oil being used to treat the pain caused by chronic disease. And I bought some for my mother at great expense before it had been allowed for medical use and everything over here. And you're supposed to put some drops underneath the tongue to help alleviate pain, etc. And my mum, being very devout and doesn't drink, doesn't do anything, which even though I said to her there was nothing in there that was going to alter the state of her mind, unfortunately, she refused. She had really bad shoulder pains. She refused to put it, so it would just be rubbed over the top. So I think I was spending about £80 a bottle on this CBD oil that she was just rubbing into her shoulders. And I was like, just hoping that it's going to absorb well enough to I think it was the massage action maybe that was alleviating the pain. So that's my experience with CBD oil. So just a few housekeeping things, just to let you know that when Chris and I do this, it's not considered medical advice. It's only based on science, based on current research, and our opinion based on our respective experience in the industry. Please feel free to ask questions here, stick them in the bottom below. And yeah, we're just trying to help take some of the confusion out so that all of you can make considered decisions about how you want to move forward with your skincare and your beauty routines. As I think one of the most amazing points that you made, I think last week actually, Chris, that I loved was that, you know, that even in science, even scientists, you actually said scientists can sometimes become a bit arrogant, and that we as scientists have to accept that we're not always right, and that research moves on and new information comes on. So what we're talking about today in terms of CBD oil and its use in skincare is based on current research today, and it could well change. Is that fair?
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so why the big furore about CBD oil in skincare, please? What's this all about?
To be honest, I think most of it comes from the exotic and slightly risque nature of its origin being cannabis. It's just, it's intriguing, isn't it? And I guess what's quite interesting is it's not new. So we think of it as just kind of the market's exploded, but cannabis oil, CBD, has been used for centuries. That they say Queen Victoria, well, all kinds of things. So they say Queen Victoria used it as part of her treatment for kind of menstrual pain, but it's been used back since kind of several thousand years BC. So I think it's only maybe in the last 50 years we've learned more about the individual compounds within cannabis, and that's where things have kind of accelerated. But it's only really hit the market here in maybe the last 3 or 4 years. It's quite fascinating, really.
What you mean as a painkiller?
In general, it's just kind of exploded, hasn't it? Even though everyone thinks it's something new, but it's been around forever. But yeah, I think it's just maybe the internet age. People are posting their own reviews about pain killing and everything else, and then because it sounds amazing, people are trying it in skincare.
Yeah, and I suppose also we're looking for this wellness and these natural solutions, or people are looking for wellness, natural solutions. So of course that's natural, and I think you're right, there's an element of, oh my god, this is so cool to use, and maybe I should smoke a bit more. Not me, everyone. just makes me feel ill, actually. So I can't do that. But its use in skincare has definitely become very, very topical currently. So my understanding of it is that the benefits of this in skincare are supposed to be from an antioxidant point of view and also from an anti-inflammatory point of view. How, why, and really, yeah, how and why? What is it? Is it any kind of antioxidant?
Yes. So it comes from, so CBD or cannabidiol, it comes from the plants, the leaves, the stalks of cannabis. Very different to hemp oil, which we can talk about in a moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, as with most plants of that kind, it's very good as an antioxidant. The reason being, that's how it protects itself in nature. Most plants grow with a lot of antioxidant compounds because that's how they protect themselves from the sun, from other predators.
Yeah.
And you're correct that the benefits in skincare all center around anti-inflammation and soothing. And that's really where it's kind of, this pain relief came from. So it was shown in the body to reduce pain by preventing or overcoming that inflammation. And people tried it in the skin. So often you get the same kind of effects of these things. So that's, yeah, everything centers around antioxidant and anti-inflammatory in skincare.
But is there any research that proves that it acts when you apply it topically to skin? So, for example, reduce the inflammation of rosacea or will reduce the inflammation of acne. Is there any scientific proof at the moment?
There is, but it's still quite early stage. So things really only started in the 60s and 70s when cannabidiol as an individual cannabinol was identified and isolated. So work started from there, but it's only really in the last 5 years that companies have been testing this in skin creams and in serums to see if you get effects. But the answer is yes. It's been shown to be beneficial, but it's still very early stage.
Okay, look, I think I probably have jumped too far ahead. Maybe we just need to go back. You mentioned cannabidiol. Say, what are the differences between this? Because we know that the stuff that we're using for pain relief and also that's being used in skincare isn't going to alter the state of your mind in any way. So can you just quickly explain the difference and what it is and the different deals?
Yeah, so cannabis is split into the kind of cannabinols, which are the, I guess, the non-psychoactive parts, and THC, which is tetrahydrocannabinol, which is the bit that makes you high.
Okay.
And ultimately, with CBD, they isolate this cannabidiol, a beneficial cannabinol, but it's not psychoactive at all. This is purely, it's all about pain relief, soothing, anti-inflammatory. But that's where the intrigue comes from, really, because it's from this plant that has all of this soothing by smoking kind of reputation. That's where the intrigue comes. But to answer your question from earlier, the research is building and there is evidence now growing about its pain relief in the body, but also its soothing effects, anti-inflammatory on the skin too.
Okay. So, but what you're saying is, yes, there's something there, but it hasn't been proven yet.
No. So similarly to when we talked about the microbiome,
Yeah.
I'd say similar in that the market demand currently outweighs the science behind it. So there's so much market interest. Products are launching every week without really a great deal of evidence, which is, it can be dangerous. Actually, in this case, I think it's perfectly safe. I don't see any issue with CBD. But yeah, a lot of the products out there have got no credible science behind them at all.
So it's not going to do you harm, but it may not do you good. So if there's no credible science in there, then presumably they haven't properly worked out what sort of concentrations you need and whether or not it has an instant or cumulative or effect and on different skin conditions. So acne, rosacea, dermatitis, eczema, they haven't yet done that.
That's right. And it also, we don't have a benchmark at the moment. So I couldn't tell you whether it's as good as vitamin C or as good as something else because we don't have enough of that comparative data.
Okay, so that was actually one of my questions. Is it a better antioxidant than any other? And how does it compare to vitamin C, particularly because everyone's vitamin C mad, aren't they? We don't know yet whether or not it's any better.
No, that's right. So we have these receptors in our skin that will work with the CBD. And the theory is that by triggering those, we get this soothing and anti-inflammatory effect. But similarly with vitamin C, there's so much data on vitamin C. I can give you a firm answer that 1% will do this, 2% will do the other. We don't have that with CBD at all at the moment.
How far away is that then, in reality, to get to a level where there's decent science behind it? How long does that typically take?
I'd say within the next 5 years.
5 years, okay.
Yeah, and the reason
enough.
being, I still think right now companies are still getting to grips with how best to extract this stuff from cannabis, what they need to look for in terms of purity. There's still a lot of regulatory hurdles to be navigated. So a lot of the kind of credible research companies in skincare are maybe holding back a little bit, see what happens in that landscape, and then they'll invest in the data.
So of course there's the element of purity to it as well that we don't really, so there's no standard yet, is there, of how you have to extract and what methods that you use and how you standardize what you're left with, right?
That's right. The standards at the moment are all about how it's tested. So you have to prove there's none of this THC. So yeah, as you're right, if people do try and smoke this or take it, they're not going to get high.
So at the moment, it's all about making sure it's not mind altering. That's what the tests are about. So just incidentally though, so they've got this cannabis plant, and they're using all of it, which is great. But they're extracting out the TCH stuff or THC. What happens with all of that then? Is someone getting some really potent mind altering stuff somewhere? What's going to happen to that?
I don't know. To be honest, I mean, cannabis can only be grown under license, so they must have approved ways of discarding these things. I hope. I hope they're not rolling it up and smoking it, but someone might be having fun somewhere. Who knows? Yeah.
So I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what has happened with some of the companies who are not necessarily getting the extraction here in this country, but maybe from overseas. Because I've been approached a number of times. I haven't told you this yet, Chris. I've been approached a number of times by people who are saying, we can give you some CBD oil that's got really good data behind it, and you can just put some into an existing formula and you can increase your price. Why don't you just do that? Because and you need to act quickly, because CBD is of the moment, it's the trend. So why don't you just put one into some existing formula and you could double your price overnight? So when I'm being approached by people who are making this CBD oil, it's been from that basis. Quickly put this in there while it's a trend and chuck up your prices, double them, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, and it's always a danger. We talk so much about you've got to trust the science. Adding something into a product, we don't know whether it will detract from what's already in the formula. We need to understand the science behind it. So we see that, I mean, as you know, I work in nutrition as well. We see so many products enter the market with no backing. And there's a lot of, how can I say, misunderstanding or lack of education in the industry too. People are labeling hemp oil as CBD, and it's completely different. So yeah,
tell us about that then. How is it different to hemp?
So hemp
what should we be looking out for? Hemp
comes from the seeds. So hemp oil is a seed oil. It's high in omega-3, omega-6. Whereas CBD is actually, it's an isolated powder that comes from leaves, flowers, stem and stalks. And it's then put into an oil. So CBD itself isn't an oil.
Oh, it's not an oil?
No. When we talk about CBD oil.
It's CBD oil.
That's right. So what they do, they take the CBD and put it into an oil. And that could be hemp oil. It could be olive oil. It could be something else. So again, it's just a big, maybe, lack of clarity or consistency in the market.
Right. Okay. And then we don't know what the concentration levels are, or the purity, or the thing isn't standardized. Okay. So it's something that we should look out for. Now, it's something that we talked about. Actually, we talked about CBD oil, I think, a few years ago, along with, because my intention is, like those big ingredient manufacturers, to hold back until there's some proper science behind it, so that we can see how and when this kind of ingredient should be incorporated into a new product for us. So I'm holding back at the moment because of this. Okay, is there any initial data that suggests that CBD oil can either reverse or repair signs of skin aging yet?
Only based on antioxidants. So we do know it is a good antioxidant. Again, I'd love to see more comparative data so I could pitch it against vitamin C or other things, but we know it's got antioxidant power, and we know it triggers antioxidant effects in the skin. And as you know, the vast majority of wrinkles or premature aging comes from oxidative damage caused by the sun.
Yeah.
So in that sense, I would say the theory is there, the science is there, but I can't at the moment say if we add 1% CBD to a cream, it will be better than adding 2% vitamin C or whatever it might be.
Okay. So that would be good, actually. Okay, because typically when we get a new trend like this and a new ingredient, typically it tends to be more expensive, doesn't it, than some of the stuff that we've already got available, but might not necessarily be as effective.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. When you apply it topically, does it get into the bloodstream?
No, not a chance. It will
Okay.
it will make it down a few layers into the skin. It will work with the receptors there, and that will be it. It will be used up.
That will be it. Do we know which inflammatory receptors it's targeting or working on at the moment? Because I know that when you and I have been formulating that cream that shall not be named, that hopefully will be launched, that was for exceptionally sensitive skin, you were targeting ingredients for different inflammatory receptors in the skin, which are different for acne versus rosacea versus dermatitis versus sensitivity versus all kinds of things. So we were trying to create a formula that would deal with all of those different receptors. Do we know with CBD oil if there are any particular receptors or whether or not it's just generalized?
No, and that's the big problem. So at the moment it's too generalized and it's all theoretical. So you're absolutely right. I would love to see a really good report on here are the receptors, here's how it works, here's some quantified data, and then we can say, great, that is ideal for rosacea, or actually it won't be so good for a rosacea, but it'll work on acne. But that's the bit that's lacking.
Okay. And is anyone, do you know if anyone who's doing those tests at the moment, either versus vitamin C for antioxidant or versus inflammatory responses in the skin?
I don't. So we deal with probably 20 or 30 of the main skincare active ingredient companies in the world, and all of the ones I've spoken to are kind of holding back for that to maybe see how the market develops in the regulatory. Or they're coming up with things that you can use with CBD, so they'll have something that will enhance its penetration or such like. So I'd say they're playing it safe.
Okay,
which I don't blame them, frankly.
And in terms of the molecule size, because sometimes we talk about molecule size, you know, like we've talked previously about the collagen molecule size being too big to be penetrated. How about the molecule size of the CBD? Is it small enough to actually penetrate?
It's not, no. So it won't penetrate far. You'll penetrate maximum epidermis.
Okay. So we know it's not going to make us high. We know where it comes from. Research level, we've talked about antioxidant. What about ingesting it for skin conditions, not for pain?
So I give the same, I know it's a bit of a stock answer, is the problem when you ingest things for skincare is it's got a hell of a long way to go to get to the skin.
Yeah.
And as we've talked about before, the body kind of prioritizes. If you've got any inflammation in your body or any need for an antioxidant, it will be grabbed on the way. So by the time it gets to the skin, I dare say its potency has probably disappeared. Okay. So I'd go with the same stock answer. It won't do any harm. It may help, but I'd be very skeptical as to whether any of it benefits the skin by taking it orally.
All right. And what I love about when you're skeptical, I love this, that you are a person who has a supplement business and you still speak truth. So that's brilliant. You and I are two of a kind. I still speak truth about the capabilities of skincare, and you are about. So I'm just going to scroll through some of these notes and questions and see if we've got any here. Okay. Wade, we've got Mo, we've got, oh, hi Neil, how are you? Let's see if you pick any up. Anyone got any questions? Write them down now about CBD oil in skincare. Oh, hi Ken, how are you? And whether or not it's worth investing in at the moment. I know another of people who take it for muscle pain relief. Yes, so my mother was doing
that's where it really came from. So, and there's some studies in the 70s and 80s on that. But I think because of I think it's actually social media. So now people try things, post the videos, and it goes viral. And that's really where this came from. So we've all seen the videos of people with the tremors. They take the CBD and it calms them completely. Some of it is actually quite incredible. But with pain and muscle relief taken orally, there is some pretty good data building on that.
Yeah. Okay, Andrew's here. Hi, Andrew. Marie. Whoops, what have I done again? I've done it again, haven't I? I keep doing that, going too far. I need to know where this discarding waste is happening. Oh, I don't understand the question.
I think that's back to my comment about we don't know what happens to the THC when they extract the CBD. Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah, some of the potent ones. Okay.
Someone's probably making a lot of money by that waste, I would imagine.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't look like there's any more questions for now. Is there anything you want to add, Chris? This could be a record. This could be us finishing in 20 minutes, like I always planned to.
No, I guess the main thing from my side is it's a fascinating ingredient. So I do believe in it. I do believe it will be beneficial.
Yeah.
And I think we will see it take off. At the moment, the market has outweighed the science and also outweighed the regulatory. So there's a lot of products need to be removed from the shelf because they're completely illegal. And I'm sure there's a lot of products out there contain THC when they shouldn't. But I think when it's tidied up, without a doubt, that there have been supplements taken from the shelves for this reason. But I think when the regulatory side's tidied up and the market's tidied up and more data comes out, maybe in the next 3 or 4 years, it will be really interesting to see what comes out.
Okay, well, we'll keep an eye on the ingredient then, and we'll keep an eye on the developments for Miramaya products. But just going back to the antioxidant and the anti-inflammatory. So in terms of, okay, so if you are like us and say, okay, you don't want to invest in something that isn't proven yet and doesn't have the science to back it up. In terms of antioxidants, one of the things that I would say, and tell me if I'm wrong, Chris, but every single plant extract or additive, every plant in the world has some antioxidant qualities, right? That's how they protect themselves.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I mean, a cabbage has antioxidants in it, doesn't it? And so, oh, look, I might have started a trend there. It might be cabbage juice next. We've had that, haven't we? Cabbage juice, cabbage soup we had. So what you're doing now is, you know, when you're looking after your skin, is to make sure you include antioxidants in your skincare regime. Vitamin C is one of the antioxidants that has the best testing facilities, but there are other ones. There's things like mangosteen, echium oil. There's many different antioxidants. They're not all equal. So make sure you've got some vitamin C in your skincare regime, but then don't discount other antioxidants as well, because as Chris has said before, and he is the king of antioxidants, they work in slightly different ways. And you can go back to that video if you want to, all about antioxidants. And then in terms of anti-inflammatories, one of the best anti-inflammatories I still believe is echium oil in skincare at the moment, which has a massively high percentage of stearidonic acid within it, 12 to 14% versus fish oil, which has 2 to 4%. So if you're looking for anti-inflammatories in skincare, then you would do very well to look at things like fish oil, borage oil, blackcurrant oil. But if you want a super boost of the stearidonic acid, then go for echium oil. For us, it's in our Iconic Youth Serum, and it's also in Intensely Useful Eye Cream, and it is in Youth Preservation Moisturizer, and also in Melting Cleansing Balm. Because central to everything we do here is to try and control inflammation in the skin that causes aging, spots, and acne and rosacea and other skin sensitivities. So it's still, I believe, the best and has good data behind it to show a good anti-inflammatory. And then we use Media Calm as well, don't we, in some of the products like the skin peel and the spot treatment, and also something else. It's gone out of my head. Okay, so if there's no more questions, then I think we're done for CBD oils for the moment. Is anything else to add, Chris?
No, that's all really. I mean, everything you covered there on antioxidants is correct. I'll just say that we obviously we always choose things based on the science, but we also choose things that help the skin to help itself. So not just trying to apply something that has an effect, it's applying things that trigger effects in the body. Yeah,
that is a really good point, that we want the skin to work better for itself. Yeah, brilliant. Nice note to end on. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you, as always, Chris. It's lovely to see you. And I will try and give you a bit more notice about what we do next week. Sorry about that this week.
No, great. Look forward to it.
All right, then. Thanks, Chris. Talk to you soon. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay.